Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about the situation I'm sure as ARMY you've seen all over social media the last few days, and that is the fact that a couple nights ago RM and J-Hope attended a concert headlined by Chris Brown and Usher. I remember when I was growing up and all of the Chris Brown and Rihanna stuff came out, it was absolutely heartbreaking to see those pictures of Rihanna in every magazine. There was absolutely no words to describe what happened. It was absolutely horrifying, and my heart just ached for Rihanna in that moment. I'm honestly very perplexed at this point how he still has such a huge fan base, considering not only his past but things that have come up in recent years as well. It just is kind of baffling to me that he is still in the industry after everything that's happened, but I guess that's a whole other story completely. Then as far as Usher goes, there's an interview that he did in Forbes where he basically said that he was mentored by Diddy and he thinks he's been misinterpreted. So, maybe that was Usher's experience, but based on everything else we have seen and heard from other victims of Diddy's, obviously that isn't everyone's experience. So, maybe not the best look either to announce in an interview after everything that has been going on. As a newer ARMY and someone that has only been following, BTS for maybe 3-4 months now, I think that I am a bit more far removed than some ARMY that maybe has been invested in them for like 10 years. So I'm just going to give my honest opinion about this and, what I thought when I heard it. So I'm not going to lie and say that I wasn't a little bit disappointed, because that was my first reaction when I did see the articles come out. That said, I do think there are nuances with these things and not everything is black and white. Now, I will say that if you don't know about Chris Brown's past, then I definitely think you might have been living under a rock. But there is the possibility that they do not know about his past. Now, being worldwide global stars, do I think that they don't know about his past? I think the chances are very slim that they have not heard about it, but I am just putting it out there on the table. We don't know what they know, and that's why I think context really matters. I also think from, following BTS for the last 3-4 months, even though, these are celebrities that none of us truly know, we only see what is put out there, but I really don't feel like BTS as people are performative in any way, and I really do think that all 7 members are genuine people that really care a lot, not only about their fan base, but also the world. They've proven that with, everything that they've done in their career to speak up about things. Genuinely do not think that there was any malicious intent with them attending that concert, but I also do think that, when you are global stars with a huge fan base of primarily women, then, it isn't the best look to go to a concert of someone who has such a dark past as Chris Brown does. I also think 2 things can exist at the same time. You can be disappointed in BTS or BTS members' decisions while also still supporting them and loving them as a group and as people. I think people make mistakes, and we really don't know the context of this whole situation, and I don't think that there is going to be a statement made. Maybe there will be. I don't know if RM is going to say something. Maybe he will. I have seen people flooding to his Instagram comments, so I'm sure that he's aware of the situation now. I'm sure J-Hope is as well. I also think that people have free will. If this is something that has really deeply upset you and you don't want to support BTS anymore, you're completely in your right to do that, Same time, speaking for myself, I would not ever support Chris Brown in his music. Back in the day, before all the Rihanna stuff happened, I actually really did like Chris Brown's music. When that came out, I just didn't feel like I could support that anymore, because it was just so horrifying to me that, someone could do that to another human being and then just kind of skip around it and somehow continue on a very successful career and not really be held accountable for it. So, for me personally, I would not support that person. I do want to tell one story though. I'm a huge movie buff, and there is a particular horror film that I absolutely love. I remember bringing up this movie on social media, and a lot of people replying to it and saying that it's a real shame about the director though. It's a real shame about the director. And I did not know what they were talking about. I then went and did my research, and I found out that this director is a horrible human being. Some of the things he did are just absolutely disgusting. I had, loved this movie for years, and I had absolutely no idea about this director's past. So again, kind of coming back to what I said earlier about Chris Brown, I think that the chances of someone not knowing about his past are very, very slim. But I also think, there is the possibility that they do not know the extent of what is going on. Do I think that that's likely? No, I don't. I think, unless you've been living under a rock, everyone knows about his past. But, there is a possibility that they don't know. I also think that people do have boundaries, depending on who they are. This has come up a lot in the movie community. I've asked this question on socials many times about film. Can you separate the art from the artist? And, it was really interesting to see kind of a 50-50 split of people coming back saying, yes, I can. I, love this person's movies. They're an amazing filmmaker, even though they have a problematic past. Other people saying, no, absolutely not. I will not support anyone that has done, XYZ. And then there's others who say it depends what the person's done. It really depends, I think, on the person as to what they're willing to accept. That is all I really wanted to pop on here to say. I'd be really curious to know what your thoughts are on it. Are you very conflicted right now? How do you feel about it? We can be disappointed but still support BTS. You can also be very disappointed and decide not to support them anymore. That's your free will. BTS are genuinely all really kind, caring people. And I really do think that, they're probably horrified right now seeing everything out there and, how they're being perceived. I am still going to support BTS. I still really, really love them as people. I really do not think that there was any malicious intent here. People make mistakes, and I am going to give the benefit of the doubt here. I think, like I said, two things can exist. You can be very disappointed but still support somebody. And I do hope that, they do reflect on this and, in the future consider, with such a huge fan base of women, how this could impact fans and how it looks. I do hope they speak out about it. I feel like I would like to hear their side of the story, because right now it's just, a lot of assumptions without people really knowing the facts. But yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts. So let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.